Good evening, hockey fans. For tonight's NHL matchup, as your Utah Hockey Club continues their road trip, ending up in Toronto to play the Maple Leafs tonight. Lineups for tonight: Keller, Hayton, Schmaltz on the Utah first line, McBain, Cooley, Gunther on the second, Maselli, Bukestad, Krause on the third, Carcone, Stenlin, Kerfoot on the fourth, Sergachev, Mata on top D line, Cole, Lamoureux on the second, Kolyachonok and Kessering on the third, Vejmelka in net for Utah. Looking at a very injured Toronto team, McBain, Tavares, Marner on the first line, Robertson, Holmberg, and William Nylander on the second, Grabenkin, Minkin, and Alex Nylander on the third, Steves, Dewar, and Lorentz on the fourth, Riley and Ekman Larson on the top D pairing, McCabe, Tanev on the second, Benoit and Timmins on the third, and Woll in net. Face-off won by Toronto, moving up the right side. They'll dump it in Utah zone. Run around to Mata at the left side. Sergachev trying to jump it out right, not able to. Toronto will keep it in, held up in the right corner. Trying to push it left, not quite able to. Utah will get to it first, looking to clear. They will on the next attempt. Bounce all the way back down to the Toronto zone. They'll get to it first, though. Timmins back behind the Toronto net, trying to get it out left side, not quite able to. We'll see if they can get it out right side. They will on the next attempt. All the way back down to the Utah zone, Sergachev. He'll hold up behind the Utah net, wait for the change. 19:20 left in the first now. Sergachev still sitting behind the Utah net. Finally hit a long pass up, chipped up out of play though, as Keller tries to hold that pass down, just tips a little too far off his stick. Tonight is the Hockey Night and Cancer Night for Toronto. Ergo, everything is now purple. Just actually remember to change the things for once. And I'm finally not going to a game when there's an event night. So, great event, same as the Nashville one. Glad to see. Center ice draw. Utah win that back in their own zone, looking to get a chip up right side. It'll bounce into the Toronto zone. Tanev will get to it first, though, trying to move it out left side Toronto zone. Utah will keep it in. Keller fighting for it, pushing it left corner. Toronto will come away with it, though. Marner, he'll dump it back behind the Toronto net. Goes a little too far, though. Hayes will get that over to Keller. He'll hold it in the right corner, try and get a pass in front. Schmaltz whiffs on the shot entirely. It'll bounce left corner. Toronto will dump that out. McBabe able to dump that one out all the way down on net for Vejmelka. Bounces a little in front, but he's able to hold that with ease. 18:41 now left in the first. Utah, even though Toronto tonight is a lot more banged up, which was shocking looking at the lineups as I got things set up tonight. It is astounding how injured Toronto is. Matthews still out with that injury that wasn't a concern, but an injury that's not a concern. You're not out for this long, so we'll see what they can do. Left side draw in the Utah zone. Utah will win it, jumping it out to neutral ice. Riley will grab it first. Try to get a pass up. Schmaltz will steal it instead, moving into the Toronto zone, left side. Tries to get a pass in front. Well, on the second attempt, as McBain tries to go all the way through the Toronto defense, not quite able to. Riley with it now. He'll dump it left side the Utah zone. Dumped left corner. There will be a whistle there. Likely just for an offsides. 18:18 now left in the first. But yeah, Toronto missing a big piece of the lineup, even with just Matthews being out. That's a huge part of the lineup they're missing. Regardless, Toronto playing extremely well without him, and even with all the injuries itself. So this is going to be a more difficult game for Utah than a middling Pittsburgh team they played the other night. Additionally, on a back-to-back, you have Vejmelka playing both. You have to hope that he can stay, keep the momentum from the last game and not be tired out playing both. With the offensive weapons that Toronto has, Utah's going to need to rely on Vejmelka tonight to make some big saves and keep him in it when they can. Left side draw, Toronto zone. Utah takes a shot from the left side, bounces wide. Another big shot from the right side, deflects in front. Cooley trying to dig away at it, not quite able to. Bounce behind the Toronto net. They'll push that right corner, looking to clear it out. They will. They'll bounce all the way back down to the Utah zone. No icing, though. Kolyachonok down to get it. Minton with pressure, though. He'll give that over to Kessering. Back behind the Utah net, Kolyachonok will pass up to Gunther. Moving up with speed now. He'll dump that left corner of the Toronto zone. Trying to clear that out right side. Utah will keep it in. McBain held up along the boards. Or Gunther held up along the boards, I should say. Tied up right side. Barely kept in by Utah. Deflection goes wide in front. Through traffic, might have had something there. Toronto trying to clear left side will take a bounce back behind the Toronto net. They'll come away with it though. Benoit trying to move that up into the Utah zone. They'll get it in just for a second. Here's Utah back up the other way quickly. It's Carcone. He'll get up over the line and slow. Pass over to Sergachev. Shot goes wide. Looking for a bounce in front. He'll bounce left corner instead. Pushed into the right corner now. Benoit trying to dig away at it. Utah trying to keep it in. Won't be able to. Marner racing down with speed. Trying to get in front. Not able to get the shot off. Will get the backhand instead. Apologies. Lorentz with the opportunity there, not Marner. Regardless, good opportunity by Lorentz there. Beats out the Utah defender there, just full speed, able to not only get in front, prevents that first shot though. He'll get the backhand on it. Not Ingram, he's out. Vamelka able to get the cross for the save in time. Yeah, beats out Sergachev on that last rush there. Just all down, able to get his pad up just in time. Block that one, he will hold on there. Right side draw in the Utah zone, 16:55 left in the first. Shot setting 3-2 Toronto. Toronto will win that back cleanly. Big shot from the right point. Flex in front. Pushed into the right corner. Tavares trying to get to it. Keller with a light pass up to Hayton. He'll get out of the zone with pressure though. Schmaltz trying to get in. Will be dumped into the Toronto zone. Toronto will hold though. Back in their own zone, looking for a pass up. It'll deflect up out of the stands again. Toronto back in their own zone. Tries to get a long pass up. Tipped off the stick of Utah though. 16:35 now left in the first. Shots adjusted. Now sitting 3-1 Utah. Yeah, Utah's going to need to carry the momentum they had from the other night against Pittsburgh into this game. Toronto, a much stronger opponent tonight. They're going to need to, pretty much just do what they did to Pittsburgh. Keep Toronto in their own zone, get them tired. That's going to be a lot more difficult against a strong team. Left side draw in the Toronto zone. Hayden and Dewar, or Bukestad and Dewar on the draw. Utah win it, but Toronto comes away with it instead, moving up quickly now. They'll dump it in left side. They'll try and ring it around with Melka, trying to slow, not able to. Tied up behind the Utah net, both digging away at it. Lorentz able to get that over to the right point. Barely not knocked out by Krause there. Toronto will keep that in right side. Pushing it deep corner now, trying to get a pass in front. Riley moving in from the slot, shot in front, saved by Vamelka. Pushed to Lorentz behind the net. Mask of Vamelka comes off though during that. Play blown dead automatically. 16:07 now left in the first. Yeah, Toronto, a much stronger opponent, likely going to do what many have done to Utah if they can. If this beginning is to have an indication there, keep them in the zone, keep them to the outside, force Utah to play the game where they get it out, but forced to dump it and change, can't get set up in the Toronto zone. We'll see if they can kind of prevent that from happening tonight, but it's not an unusual story. It's happened many times this season, so it wouldn't surprise me if Toronto is able to keep Utah pinned in their own zone for extended periods of time. Let's see what happens. Left side draw in the Utah zone. Tied up along left side boards. Toronto looking to keep it in. They will. William Nylander fighting for it. Delayed penalty, though. Utah going to the box early. Who else but Lamoureux to the box? 2 minutes for cross-checking against Robertson. Toronto on the power play early. 15:58 left in the first. Even injured, this Toronto power play, not something to be taken lightly. Because though Matthews is a big part of this team, Marner and Tavares, big, and Riley, part of that core four there, still dangerous without Matthews. Great players in and of themselves. Left side draw in the Utah zone, push back behind the Utah net, trying to clear it out right side. Riley will keep it in. Just for a second, though, Utah able to clear that all the way back down. Wool will hide that behind the Toronto net. Little pass over to Marner. He'll leave it back to Riley. Riley, a pass over to Tavares, trying to get something going there. Utah will grab it instead, back in their own zone. Cole with it. He'll dump it back into the Toronto zone. A minute and a half left in the Toronto power play now. Back in their own zone, moving up with it. Riley, he'll give that back to William Nylander. Moving up through center ice. Not able to hold that. He'll push it left corner instead. Cole trying to get to it first. Model will hold up behind the Utah net just for a sec. Riley barely able to keep that in or not. Was close there. That will be an offsides for Toronto. Very close though. Almost had that kept in. Minute 08 left in the Toronto power play now. 15:06 left in the first. Shot still sitting 4-1 Toronto. This Utah penalty kill, not to jinx it here, but they have been doing very well this season. Power play's been struggling at times, but it seems like the penalty kill has been pretty consistently all right. Marner moving it in left side. He'll dump it behind the Utah net. Vejmelka will get to it first. He'll push it left corner. A little passing from Utah there, and they'll dump it right back out of the zone. We'll leave it for Riley behind the Toronto net. Moving up through his own zone. He'll leave it back for William Nylander. Nylander moving up, trying to get a pass across to Minton. Not quite able to. Pushed behind the Utah net and all the way back down into the Toronto zone. Robertson, fresh from the bench. He'll grab it. 30 seconds left in the Toronto power play now. 14:25 left in the first. Quick pass up. Toronto will dump it in. Vejmelka trying to slow that behind his own net. He will on the second attempt. Kept in by Toronto, though. OEL, a pass across. Shot. Saved by Vejmelka. 15 seconds left on the Toronto power play. The first shot of that power play. So that Utah penalty kill, doing a great job of keeping it out of the zone, especially against this Toronto power play, which just has not been able to get set up so far. 15 seconds. We'll see if they can do anything. Right side draw in the Utah zone. Kerfoot and Robertson on the draw. Sorry, Kerfoot and Alex Nylander on the draw. Tip back to the right point. Back over to the right side now. Trying to move in. Can't quite. Back to the point. Big shot. Bounces wide, though. Utah will kill off that penalty. Tied up in the left corner now. Both digging away at it. Stenlin trying to clear that out. It'll sit right at about the left dot. Over to McBain, though. He'll dump that all the way back down for the icing. 13:45 left in the first now. Shots sitting 5-2 in favor of Toronto. So Toronto only able to get one shot off on that power play. Hopefully this won't be like the kind of other games where Utah's in the box a ton. So hopefully, if Utah can stay out, they won't have to rely on that penalty kill to kind of bail them out. Left side draw in the Utah zone. Stenlin and Minton on the draw. Utah win that back. Sergachev will dump that out lightly just through center ice. Toronto will pick it right back up in their own zone. Quick pass up to Holmberg. Tied up in the left corner. Be dumped into the right corner. Keller will be there to pick it up. He'll leave it back for Mata, circling the Utah zone now. Back up to Keller. Will finally break out of the Utah zone. Moving up into the Toronto zone. Over to Kesselring right side. Shot saved in front by Woll. 13:15 left in the first. Still scoreless, but Toronto not without an effort. But that Utah penalty kill able to keep Utah in it so far. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. 13:15 left in the first, still tied at 0. Vmelka really keeping Utah in it as well as that Utah penalty kill. So we'll see if Toronto can crack Vmelka, maybe see if he's tired after that last game. Not too much action, though, in that last game, so maybe that's part of the decision to why Utah is deciding to play Vmelka on the back-to-back. Not too much action in the Pittsburgh game, might not be too tired, and if not, that's exactly what Utah needs tonight. If they can get another solid game of goaltending from Vmelka and keep him in us, that will be crucial. Right side draw in the Toronto zone. 13:15 left in the first. Shot setting 5-3 Toronto. Tied up at the dot, both fighting for it. Poked out to the right point, or tries to at least. Utah come away with it in the neutral zone. They'll dump it right back in on net. Wool bounces right up into his glove, though. He'll hold for the save. 13:05 now left in the first. Yeah, we'll have to see if Alex Nylander, maybe playing with his brother now in Toronto, can get something going. He's had good stints in Columbus and in Pittsburgh, but really hasn't found a home yet, just kind of been in the minors. We'll see if he can get something going tonight and maybe make an argument to stay on this team after everybody's back from injury. Right side in the Toronto zone, Utah will keep it in, though, pushing it around to the right side. Mata trying to dig at it, trying to get it in Schmaltz in front, not quite able to. Hayton will battle for it along the right boards. He'll get back to Keller at the right point. Looks for a deflection in front. It'll bounce wide instead. Mata held up in the left corner. Schmaltz trying to come away with it, not quite able to. Hayton looking for a pass in front. Toronto will intercept that instead. They'll dump it into the Utah zone. Sergachev there to get it quickly. He'll dump it right back out. Mata now with it, back in the Utah zone. He'll get a quick pass up. Misses everybody entirely. Back down for the icing instead. 12:24 left in the first now. Shot sitting 5-4 in favor of Toronto. That Toronto defense doing similarly to what many teams have been doing, that playing that good defense, keeping Utah to the outside. Utah did prove last night against Pittsburgh they know how to kind of battle through being pushed to the outside. We'll see if they can do it again tonight. Benoit tries to get a shot on net. It'll bounce wide instead. Both teams battling for it behind the Utah net. Utah trying to clear. They barely won't. Lawrence will dump it out of the Utah zone on his own, though, instead. Dump back into the Toronto zone. Benoit come to it first. Leave it back for Timmins. Pressured, though, has to move out quickly. Quick pass up to Dewar. He'll dump it left side, trying to get to it first. Kulichanok will grab behind the Utah net. He'll push that right side. Kept in by Roberts. Kept in by OEL. Utah will grab it regardless, dumping it right back out. Riley will grab it. Riley back in the Toronto zone with it. Moving up now. 11.5 left. Pass up shot. Saved by Melka. Quick pass up to Holmberg. Right in the slot. He'll try and get that one on net. Vmelka right into the glove, though. 11.5 left in the first. Toronto, great attempt on that last rush there. Just Riley waiting through the neutral zone. Finds Holberg, who's able to split right through the defense there. Get that shot right into the slot. Oh, it bounces off the post and up into the netting. Doesn't even go into the glove of Vmelka. Toronto now with it. Riley moving up to left dot, trying to get a deflection in front. He'll bounce right corner instead. Stenlin trying to clear that out. OEL will pressure him. He'll keep it in. Toronto right in front of the net. William Nylander trying to get something there. Carcone comes away with it instead. Utah back up the other way quickly. It's Kerfoot. Kerfoot trying to leave left side. Carcone will get it. He'll dump behind the net for Kerfoot instead. Riley able to pick that away right side. He'll try and pass that up to William Nylander. He'll get it on the next attempt, though. Back to Riley in the Toronto zone. William Nylander now with it. Still walking the Toronto zone, waiting for the change. They'll finally get the change. Quick pass up. Toronto moving up quickly now. Benoit up the right side. Would have been a chance to get something going there, but was offsides. 10:42 left in the first now. Shot still sitting 5-4 in favor of Toronto. Great opportunity on that last rush there. Trying to just get something in front. Hopefully somebody misses something there, looking for a deflection or anything. That Utah defense able to get in front of it just in time to really prevent anything. Right side dot outside the Utah zone. They'll win it back, trying to pass it up quickly. It'll bounce back into the Utah zone. Koleachonok grab it quickly. Passing across. Kessling will miss the pass. Toronto back in the Utah zone with it now. Alex Nylander looking to dance in front, saved by Vejmelka. Kessling will grab it this time. Pressure behind the Utah net. Koleachonok will grab it, looking to clear left side. Kept in by Toronto, though. Mitten trying to get something there, but would have been an offsides if he had brought that back in. Kesselring holding in the Utah zone. Pass over to Keller. Keller able to get that over the Utah blue line. Schmaltz pass right back up to Keller. Over to Schmaltz. Pass to Hayton. Shot. Deflects wide. 9:55 left in the first now. Toronto trying to clear it out. They will on the first attempt. Utah grab back and neutralize. Keller moving back up quickly. Tied up along the right board. Schmaltz will push that left corner instead. Tied up along the left side boards. Hayton, he'll push that back behind the Toronto net. McCabe will get to it first. Big passes up as Toronto back up the other way quickly. Shot from an angle bounces to the left dot. Push back behind the Utah net. Marner trying to get a little wraparound there. Utah quick pokes up and they'll get it right back out of the zone. Utah will dump that behind the Toronto net, trying to get something there. It'll be pushed to the right boards instead. Lamoureux will keep it in. Push that to Schmaltz in the right corner. Pressure though. Keller will grab it right side. Big pass across to Sergachev, left point. Saved by Wall. Cole with the big shot there, not Sergachev. 9:04 left in the first. Utah offense seeming to gain a little steam here, but nothing yet as both goaltenders keep both teams in it so far. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. .904 left in the first. Shots currently sitting 7-5 in favor of Toronto. Big chances from Utah on that last rush. They're able to have a sustained presence in the Toronto zone, but Toronto answers back quickly, doing what they've been doing all game, just keeping it in the Utah zone and really getting some quality shots on net. Vejmelka keeping Utah in it early. We'll see if that Utah offense can really get something going, maybe get a lead early to bring a little more pressure off Vejmelka. We'll see what happens here. Still about 9 left to play in the first. Still plenty of time in the game overall. If we cut away from the stands, there we go. Left side draw in the Toronto zone. Tied up at the dot. Utah quick shot on Wall. Saved by Wall. 9:01 now left in the first. Yeah, Utah's just going to need to keep it in the Toronto zone as much as possible. If you can tire out those first few lines for Toronto, that's going to be critical to keeping this game a little closer. Left side draw again. It will be Cooley and Nylander. Tied up at the dot, both fighting for it. Toronto come away with it instead, moving up out of the zone quickly. Holmberg able to get that in left side. Shot bounces wide into the right side of the Utah zone. Push back behind the net. William Nylander looking for a pass in front. Won't find it. Lammer with it behind the Utah net. Quick passes up to Gunther. Moving up quickly. It's Cooley out at the right side of the Toronto zone. He'll push that right corner. Cole trying to get that over to Gunther. Not quite able to. Will be a penalty, I believe, on Utah. It will be Utah going to the box again, second time today, for a hooking call. Gunther taking a 2-minute hooking against OEL. So we'll see if the Utah penalty kill can do what it's been doing all season, just very strong play from them, or if this Toronto offense power play here took one to get used to that Utah penalty kill. We'll see if they can break them this time. 8:20-ish left in the first now. We'll get that exact once the clock wants to come back. Yeah, just Gunther behind the Toronto net just kind of drags him down on that play there. 8:30 left in the first. Left side dot in the Utah zone, tied up the dot, pushed back behind the Utah net. Tavares trying to race for it. Mata trying to get that out, trying to get that to Kerfoot. He'll be able to dump that out all the way back down to the Toronto zone. Wool leave that for Riley back behind the net. Riley, quick pass up to Marner. Pass over to Tavares at the left side. Leave it for Marner. Get that back to Riley at the left point. Pass across the right point. Back to Marner. Shot from Tavares in front goes wide. Held up the left side. Utah trying to clear it. Kept in by Tavares. Instead, he'll ring that back around to the left corner. Looking for Marner in front. Pass goes wide right through the feet of Minton. Utah will come away with it. Quick pass up to Stenlund. He'll take the shot from the left side. Saved by Wool. 1:08 left in the Toronto power play now. 7:38 left in the first. But now Toronto back in their own zone. As Utah able to get some quick passes up. Attempt to get a 2-on-2 there, but one held up there. Can't quite get anything going. Stenlund, a good shot from the right point, left point though. Left dot. So we'll see if Utah can maybe win this face-off here. Maybe get some quick shots on. Maybe hope something goes in, but Wool been playing very good. Utah will win the draw at the left side. They'll push it back behind the Toronto net instead. OEL will grab it. Pass across, left for Nylander. Quick pass up right side. Will bounce behind the Utah net. Alex Nylander trying to race for it. OEL back at the left point. Moves up to the slot. He'll pass that over to William Nylander right side. Dancing with it. He'll move back to the right point. Back to OEL. Back over to Nylander. Moving up. Looking for a shot. Cooley with pressure though. Can't get much set up there. OEL not able to keep that in. Will bounce back to the Toronto zone. 29 seconds left in the Toronto power play. Trying to move up quickly with it. He'll re-enter the zone. Tries to get a pass over to William Nylander. Not quite able, or to Robertson. Not quite able to. Utah grab that back behind their own net. They'll dump it all the way back down. OEL, 10 seconds left in the Toronto power play now. We'll see if they can get in one last time. Look at it in the zone. Sergachev will grab it instead. He'll dump that all the way back down right before the penalty ends for no icing there. Utah will be able to kill off that power play. McCabe, quick pass up. Toronto trying to get that in. Steve's not able to grab that. Utah will be able to dump that out right side. Maselli racing for it. Able to battle McCabe for it, or McCabe. McCabe will get to it first, though. Tied up at the right corner instead. Toronto trying to clear, kept in instead. Shot on net, saved by Wool. Good effort there from Utah after the end of that power play, or off the penalty kill there, to get that back in the Toronto zone. Maselli, great effort on that last rush there. Just keeps battling for it, keeps it in that corner as much as possible, forces McCabe to try and dump that out as far as he can. Kept in by Kolyachonok, though. He'll get the shot on net, but saved by Wool. But regardless, another penalty kill by Utah tonight. It's great that you can get these kills, but you can't quite rely on them all the time. We'll see if they can hopefully just stay out of the box entirely. Toronto able to clear that out of their zone after the face-off win there. Passes up by Utah. Hayden, he'll dump that left corner. Takes a weird bounce on net. Wool able to slow that down. Toronto trying to clear right side. Utah will push that back right corner instead. Schmaltz trying to get that back to left point. He will. Sergachev trying to get that up, or Cole trying to get that up to Hayton. Schmaltz will bounce out of the zone for him instead. Back and neutralize. He'll give that back to Cole. Quick passes up as Utah back in their own zone with it. Lamoureux. Over to Cole on the right side. Long pass up to Schmaltz. He'll tip that in for no icing. Riley will get to it first, though, trying to get that out left corner. He'll dump that right side of the Toronto zone. Nobody there, but Riley will dump that right back behind the Toronto net. Here comes Toronto back up the other way with speed. Riley entering the left side. Shot on net, saved by Vejmelka. Just a shot from about the left point there. He just throws that on net. Vejmelka with the easy save. 5:09 left in the first now. Toronto 2 power plays early, but that Utah penalty kill keeping them in it. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. Be back after the short commercial break. .509 left in the first, still scoreless after about 15. Shots currently tied at 8. Both teams actually having some, fairly even offensive pressure so far. Toronto coming out early, but as the periods went on, Utah's been getting more and more chances. Even with the 2 power play opportunities for Toronto, still not been able to do much there. That Utah penalty kill very lethal so far tonight. Hopefully they don't have to rely on them too much tonight. We'll see if they need to. Left side draw on the Utah zone. Holmberg and Stenlund on the draw. We'll see if they switch, having to chew that one again. Second attempt. We'll see if we can get this dropped correctly this time. They will. Bounces right at the dot. Utah come away with it instead, looking for a quick pass up. Toronto barely able to keep that in the zone. Robertson trying to get a pass across the blue line, not quite able to. Dumped in deep in the Toronto zone. Wool push that right side. Toronto racing for it. Carcone able to keep that in. Stenlund shot from the right side will bounce behind the Toronto net. Carcone in the left corner. Pass in front to Kerfoot. Bounces wide. Held in at the left corner. Kerfoot digging for it. Trying to get that back to McBain. Kept in. Shot will bounce to the right corner. William Nylander trying to clear that out right side. Stenlund will keep it in instead. Carcone trying to get a bounce in front. Saved by Wool. 4.5 left in the first now. Shots sitting 10-8 in favor of Utah. Great opportunities on that last rush there by Utah, especially from that fourth line. Just not letting Toronto clear that out. Exactly what they need to do against a team like this. Just keep them in their own zone, get them tired out. Just throw things at the net. If you get lucky enough, something will bounce in, especially against Wool, who's been playing great. Just throw anything at the net. See if something sticks. Right side draw in the Toronto zone. McBain and Dewar on the draw. Toronto will win that back into the right corner. Both teams digging at it. Toronto trying to clear that out right side. Utah barely not able to keep that in. Steve's fighting for it. Toronto grab it and neutralize. He'll dump it into the Utah zone, but would have been an offside, so Utah back with possession of it. Kolyachonok will hold it. Pressured by Lawrence, though. Utah trying to get it in. Light pass. Toronto will intercept that. Dump back into the Utah zone. Kolyachonok will dump that to Cooley along the left side. Quick pass up to McBain, moving up with speed, trying to get over the blue line. He will on the second attempt. Back behind the net for Wolves. He'll pass that left side. Benoit trying to grab it. Cooley will keep it in instead along the right side boards. Gunther able to push that left corner. McCabe trying to race for it first. Bounced off Toronto skate. Kept in by Utah just for a second, though. It'll bounce out of the zone. Cooley will grab it in neutral ice. Long pass up to Krause. He'll keep that in the Toronto zone. Held up along the right side boards, waiting for pressure, trying to get a pass in front. Tipped up and out of play the other side this time. That's the third for tonight. 3:23 now left in the first. 10-8 shots in favor of Utah so far. And it's been all Utah these last few minutes, really. Just good pressure, keeping it out of their own zone, not letting Toronto get set up. Even when they do dump it, having somebody deep to get that quickly back out. Long passes up to get it right back in the Toronto zone. Working great so far. Holmberg, Bukestad, right side draw in the Toronto zone. Holmberg jumping early, so now Bukestad and Minton on the draw now. Utah win that back. Lamoureux will hold it at the right point. Trying to bring that around to the left corner. Tanev will get to it first. Trying to dump that out right side. Bukestad trying to get a tip back up, not able to. Maselli deep now. He'll move back to the left point, or to the right point. Dancing at the point there, able to get that over to the left side. Looking for a long pass up into the right corner. Krause pressuring there. Tanev racing for it in the left corner now. Looking to clear, and he will. Back to neutral ice, though. Utah will grab it quickly. Little pass up to Krause. Will dump that back behind the Toronto net. Tanev will try and clear that left side. Pass in front. Krause able to intercept that. Trying to get that over to Bukestad. Not able to get that shot off, but he will draw a penalty instead. McCabe going to the box for 2 minutes against Bukestad. Just looks like an interference call there. Regardless of what it's for, Utah now on the power play. We'll see if they can continue the pressure they had last game. Great power play last game, able to take advantage of that Pittsburgh defense. We'll see if against this Toronto team they're able to keep that momentum and maybe get on the board early. Yeah, McBabe taking a 2-minute interference against Bukestad. 2:42 left in the first, so Utah on the power play for most of the first, unless they take one of their own. Left side draw, Toronto's own, tied up at the dot. They'll get that back to the left point. Gunther with it at the left side. Get it to Schmaltz. Back over to Keller, right side. Looking for a shot. Look at it to Cooley deep. Bounces up over the stick of Keller. Not able to hold that. Kept in, though. Keller back with it. He'll get it across to Gunther at the left side. Circling in. Bounces up. Saved by Wall. Kept in at the left dot by Sergachev. Over to Keller, right side. He'll get it back to Sergachev. Quick pass over to Gunther. Looking for a tip in front, and they'll get it. Cooley with the tip in front in Utah. That power play continuing that momentum they had last game. Able to go up on the board early. Utah will be taking it early. 1-0 lead. Just a beautiful tip there in front. Sergachev will keep that back at the point. Over to Keller. He'll hold it for a sec. Back to Sergachev. Quick pass over to Gunther. Just quick shot in front. Gets that. Finds Cooley in front. He'll get the tip right in. Yeah, that shot going wide, but Cooley in the right place at the right time. Utah up 1. Cooley on the power play, his 4th of the season. Gunther and Sergachev with the assists. They're 9th for both, respectively. Center ice draw. Toronto will win it. Dump it into the Utah zone. Tied up behind the Utah net now. Both fighting for it. Toronto looking for a shot in front. William Nylander can't quite get that to Alex. So dumped back out of the Utah zone. Tied up along the right side of neutral ice. Play blown dead. Not quite sure what for on that one, but play blown dead regardless. Minute 50 left in the first. Shot setting 12-8 in favor of Utah. Just a beautiful goal on that by Cooley there. That last draw is critical if you're Utah taking that early lead here, especially with only a few minutes left in the first. Going into the second, up will be a huge advantage for them. Toronto able to clear that out of their zone right side. Model race to it first, whiffs on the clearing attempt there. Luckily, Utah able to get that out on the next attempt. Toronto back in their own zone. Bukestad able to strip that away. He'll keep that in right side. Poked away by Grebekin instead. Not able to get that into the Utah zone. Hand pass called, so play blown dead. Trying to get something going there, but not able to get that pass officially there. 1:19 left in the first now. Shots now sitting 13-8 in favor of Utah. Toronto, after these first few minutes here, has not been able to get set up. Had a very strong opening, even having those 2 power play opportunities there. But Utah keeping that penalty kill for Utah, and Vejmelka keeping him in it early. Tavares into the Utah zone, pushed in the left corner. Trying to get something going there, tied up. Riley racing to keep that in, not quite able to. Hayton racing for it back in the Toronto zone. OEL forced to right corner. Tavares looking to clear, he will. Quick pass up to McMahon. Looking for a pass in front. Schmaltzland will intercept that instead. Utah looking to clear, they will. Hayton in neutralized, tries to leave that back for Schmaltz. Toronto back up the other way quickly. Lorenz looking to get a pass across. Deflects in front off of Kessering, though. Utah able to clear that all the way back, and no icing on that one for a little bonus on that one. 30 seconds left in the first now. Riley, quick little pass up to Holmberg. He'll get in the zone left side. Trying to get it in front. Shot from an angle, bounces wide. 22 seconds. Sergachev will get that over to Mata. Big pass right over to McCabe, though. Saved by Vejmelka. It'll bounce right corner. Sergachev able to push that back to the left corner. Nobody there but Mata to pick that up. Looking to clear. Toronto keep it in, though. Shot by Holmberg goes wide. 5 seconds left. Utah in control with it now. They'll dump it back into the Toronto zone. Cooley trying to get something there. Tipped wide, though. And that will be the end of the first. Utah able to take a 1-0 lead. It's about 2 minutes left. Putting the pressure on Toronto. We'll see if this Utah offense can take advantage and build this momentum further into this game, or if Toronto can come out of the second swinging, much like they did in the first, and maybe get something in this time. Listening to Utah-Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back in 15. Welcome back as we get ready to start the second period of this game. Utah up 1-0 against Toronto so far. Some first period stats for you. Final shots at the end of the first, sitting 12-10 in favor of in favor of Utah. Toronto, a little bit of the advantage on the faceoffs here, 15-1 compared to 13 for Utah. Utah, though, 1 for 1 on the power play so far tonight. Toronto 0 for 2. Hit sitting 19-9 in favor of Toronto, and block shots sitting 3-2 in favor of Utah. After that first few minutes where it was mostly Toronto action, all Utah so far in the last little bit of that period. So as long as Utah can keep up that pressure, keep Toronto pinned in their own zone, they should be all right. And if they can get a second goal added to this lead here, they'll be in an even better position so far. Toronto, on the other hand, is going to need a big offensive rush here at the beginning and to actually sustain it, unlike the first period where they had that rush but could not get anything going. Mainly Vamelka and that Utah penalty kill keeping them in it so far. So we'll see what happens here in the second. Still plenty of time to play. Utah only up by 1. Center ice draw to start the second. Whenever we want to get ready. Bukestad and Dewar on the opening faceoff. Toronto will win that back cleanly, looking for a shot up left side. They'll dump it into the Utah zone. It'll bounce right corner. Cole able to grab it first. Not able to hold it, though. Pushed up right corner regardless. Both still digging at it. Toronto still tied up in that right corner. Utah able to knock that away, trying to get that out of the zone. Toronto will bounce it right back in. Left corner, Cole fighting for it. He'll get it up to Lamoureux. Kraus now with it, looking to clear it out. Barely he will. Maselli trying to fight for it. Toronto, quick passes up, trying to get in the zone. It'll bounce back into the Toronto zone instead. Timmins with it now. Looking for that quick pass up again. We'll be able to get it this time. Vamelka will hold it behind the Utah net. Quick pass up to Cole. Pass up to Bukestad. Not able to hold that. Toronto back up the other way quickly. Marner will get that into the zone. McMahon looking for a shot in front. Will bounce back to the right corner. Utah able to come away with it. Here's Keller moving up. Cutting through neutral ice. Will get that over to Schmaltz at the left side. Forced in the left corner. Trying to ring that around. Not quite able to. Toronto will clear that up and out. Marner now with it. Looking to get that in left side. Looking for pass in front to Tavares. Forced in the left corner. Tavares. OEL now back at the right point with it. Back to Marner. Walking the line. Looking for a pass in front. Tipped wide though. Keller coming away. He'll chip it out. Schmaltz able to grab that out of midair. Moving up with it now. Entering left side. Looking for a shot in front. Goes wide. Hayton there to pick it up in the left corner. Pressured against the boards though. McMahon, Kolyachonok fighting for it. Schmaltz almost has something there, not able to quite grab it. All the way back down, right on net. Vamelka will push that right side of the Utah zone. Gunther moving back up quickly with it. He's got McBain behind him. He'll get it, looking for a pass across. Shot, bounces wide. Kessler not able to keep that in at the left point. Or at the right point, it'll bounce all the way back down to the Utah zone. No icing. Kessler pressured back in his own zone. Big pass intercepted by William Nylander. Now looking for backhand in front. It'll bounce wide. Cooley looking to chip that up and out. Gunther will grab it. Can't quite keep control of it. Cooley will grab it back instead. Doubling back in the Utah zone just for a sec. Quick pass up to Kolyachonok. Back to Kesselring. Over to Gunther. He'll ring that around left side. It'll end up right corner. Kept in at the right point. Cooley forced out of the Toronto zone. He'll dump that deep in, looking for the change, and Utah will get it there. Timmins looking for a long pass up. It'll tip up into the Utah zone. No icing. Lamoureux and Gebrekin both fighting for it. Utah able to come away with that out of their own zone. Kolyachonok trying to fight for it. Tries to poke that away. Almost does. Tanev not able to quite control that as much as he'd like. It'll end up in the right corner of the Toronto zone. They'll grab it back just in time, though. Tanev, a quick pass up to Alex Nylander. Not quite able to get that into the Utah zone. Kolyachonok now. Or Carcone now walking in. Forced to push that back to the left point as he rings that around. Sergachev. He'll get that back deep. Held in along the right side boards now. Pushed back behind the net. Kerfoot trying to dig for it at the right side. He'll keep control. He'll push that right corner. Carcone able to grab that. Looking for a shot from an angle. It'll bounce in front. Tapped right in front to Wool for the easy save. 16:28 left in the second now. Shot sitting 12-11 in favor of Utah. And Toronto with the big offensive rush here to start the first, much like they did or to start the second, much like they did the first. Although similarly, not able to get anything on net, and frankly, I would say less quality shots than the first attempt there. Utah, on the other hand, bouncing back, getting back in the Toronto zone, able to get some shots on net, but both Wall and Vamelka keeping both teams in it so far. Right side dot in the Toronto zone. Bukestad and Lorentz on the draw. Tied with the dot, will bounce back behind the Toronto net, looking to clear, and they will. It'll bounce into neutral ice. Koliachonok will race for it first, pushing the left corner. Pressured by Timmins. Toronto back at the left point now with it. Big shot over to OEL. It'll bounce up. Just hits the glass, though. Tied about the ref. Utah will come back away with it. They'll get it up out of their own zone. Kessering moving up the left side. Pressured, though. Still held up along the left side, looking for a long pass across. It'll bounce in front. Saved by Wall. Maselli pressuring along the left side boards, looking to get something in front. It'll bounce back into the left corner instead. Kraus racing for it. Riley will get to it first, looking to clear right side. It'll bounce up into the Utah bench. Will bounce back into the Toronto zone, but called dead on that play. 15:43 now left in the second. Shot setting 14-11 in favor of Utah. As long as Utah can keep doing what they've been doing so far, just keeping Toronto in their own zone, getting them tired out, not letting them get those rushes deep, and forcing, if they do have rushes, forcing that third, fourth line to do it, while they still have some quality players on those lines, if you can prevent the top scorers from getting into the zone and getting the presence set up, that will be crucial, especially with a 1-0 lead. Toronto wins the draw, right side dot outside their own zone. They'll control it back in their own zone. Tanev will dump that into the Utah zone right corner. Utah trying to clear that out right side, not quite able to. Kept in by Tavares. Left for Marner. Marner looking for a tip in front. It'll bounce wide instead. Hayden looking to clear that out left side. Forced to instead get that Sergachev in the right corner. He'll be able to pass that down. Will bounce down. Keller will get to it first. Held up in the right corner. Still has control of it. He'll get that to Hayden behind the net. Schmaltz will push that to Mata at the left circle. Back to Hayden, trying to get something in front. He'll stay on the left side instead. Forced back behind the net. Both teams digging for it. It'll push the right corner. Sergachev trying to keep it deep. Tanev trying to come away with it on the left side. Keller ties him up instead. Toronto will clear that out. Big pass up. Here comes Marner moving in. Shot, Hill, score. Marner, long pass from the rush there. Able to beat both Utah defenders coming back. And this game tied at 1. Just Toronto back from behind their own net. Just gets that long pass up. He sees Marner down there. Able to beat both defenders. Moves in. Bar down. Top right corner. Beautiful shot by Marner. Yeah, Tavares all the way back down from his own red line. Just gets that long pass up. Beats Mata and another Utah fresh from the bench. But regardless, this game now tied at 1. 14:44 left in the second now. Tied up at 1. Holmberg now with it back in the Toronto zone. Pass over to Timmins. Back to Holmberg. Toronto trying to get something set up. Would have been an offside, so Utah has control of it now. Back in their own zone. Quick pass up to Gunther. Moving in left side. Tries to leave it in the slot for Cooley. Shot goes wide instead. He'll bounce right in front. Nobody there to pick it up, though. Here comes Timmins back up the other way. He'll get it over to William Nylander. Walking the line, able to come away with it. Breaks through everybody. Trying to get the shot over to Holmberg. Not quite able to. William Nylander behind the Utah net now. Pressured into the right corner. He'll pop back to Timmins at the right point. Back to Timmins. Big shot. Broken stick, though. Not able to get anything going there. Timmins now with it. Back behind, William Nylander, shot in front, saved by Vejmelka on the delayed penalty there. Lamoureux back to the box again, second time tonight. Interference against Robertson, so Toronto has another chance tonight to go up on the power play. We'll see what they can do if they can bring this, finally get a lead set up in this game. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. $13.50 left in the second now. Toronto back on the power play. Earning the last Toronto goal, Marner, his 7th of the season, assisted by Tavares and Tanev, their 11th and 4th, respectively. This Toronto power play 0 for 2 tonight. Utah penalty kill keeping them in it so far. We'll see if they finally get it figured out on this one, especially now with the momentum from that goal. Left side dot in the Utah zone. Toronto will win that back at the left point. Marner dancing with it. Force to the right side. Left to William Nylander at the left side now. Marner circling the zone. He'll get back to the left point now. Back to Marner. Now at the right side with it. Looking for a shot in front. Tipped right in front. Minton trying to get a shot there to deflect into the left corner. Saved by Vejmelka there. Shot from the point. Bounces wide instead. Marner racing to pick it up. Utah trying to clear. Kerfoot able to come away with it on his second attempt. He'll dump that into the Toronto zone. 1:20 left in the Toronto power play now. 13:10 left in the period. Marner. He'll leave it back for William Nylander. Moving up into the zone, he'll leave it at the left side. Over to Marner at the right side. Waiting for a shot, back to Riley at the point. Marner moving in with it. Looking for a tip in front, won't get it. Tavares looking for that tip there. Marner back with it at the right dot. Force deep, look for a shot from an angle, not able to grab it. Cooley will grab it instead, looking to clear, and he will. All the way back down into the Toronto zone. 50 seconds now left on the power play. Shot sitting 17-14 in favor of Toronto. This game now tied up at 1. Alex Nylander trying to push that in right corner. Or William Nylander trying to push that in right corner. Nylander back behind the Utah net with it. Now back to Alex Nylander. Down at the right point. Utah trying to get that out. Won't be able to. In front. Nobody able to get any shot off there. Back to the left side. Not able to get a shot off in front. Misses the empty net in front. Robertson hits the post as he has the whole net to himself. Alex Nylander back to the point for OEL. Back to Alex Nylander, right side. I'll leave it for OEL. Looking to get something in the slot. Left shot goes wide. Utah able to grab that. They'll clear that out all the way back down. And Utah kill off another power play tonight. Toronto, astounding that nothing went in on that last attempt. 2 or 3 in front they probably should have had, especially that empty net one there. Back in the left corner of the Utah zone. Toronto with it. Looking for a tip in front. It'll bounce wide instead. Lorentz trying to grab it. Tied up along the right side boards. Dewar digging away at it as well. Push back to the right point for Tanev. Holding, he'll try and chip it around to the right corner. Toronto just working that right corner. Finally coming out with it. Steve's looking for a shot in front. It'll bounce wide instead. McCabe, he'll get that back to the left point. Shot from the left side will bounce wide. Tanev looking to keep it in. Utah finally able to clear that out just for a second, though. Toronto get that back in neutral ice. Moving back up with it. They'll dump it into the right corner. Catches an edge, though, and they'll call that a penalty. Doesn't just catch an edge, gets tripped. Sergachev going to the box now. 2 minutes for, I believe, a tripping against Steves. So Toronto right back on the power play. See if fourth time's the charm for them. They had several opportunities there as Robertson and William Nylander both in front. Ends up over to McBain. Tries to get the shot in front. Robertson, clear open net, hits the left side post instead. So we'll see if the fourth time's the charm for Toronto tonight, or if that Utah penalty kill can just keep doing what they've been doing and keep this game tied at 1. 10:50 left in the second now. Shot setting 18-14. Left side draw in Toronto, or in the Utah zone. Toronto will win it back. Marner over to the left side. Back to Riley. Marner in the slot. Back left side. Shot goes wide. Marner racing to keep that in. Barely will. Marner moving in through the slot. He'll get that over to the left or to the right side. Forced into the right corner. Tavares pass that over to the left side. Shot goes wide. Looking for another one in front. It'll bounce in. Vejmelka looks like he's just trying to get reset in the net and just a fluky bounce in front. Toronto will go up 2-1. Oops, that's the one. We'll have to see on the replay here how exactly that bounces in, but it's just a shot from the right corner, looking to get something in front. And they get lucky enough to put that in. Yeah, left side shot, it'll bounce into the right corner. Marner just looks for something in front. See if we get a better angle here. Yeah, Marner in the corner. Bounce in front, left side, shot goes wide. Yeah, it just seems to catch Vejmelka as he's getting reset up in the net. Just an unlucky bounce. That bounces off Cole's stick. Regardless, Toronto up 2. Or up 2-1 with a 1-goal lead. Now in the Toronto zone, tied up in the left corner. Both teams scrambling for it. Pokes out in front. Toronto able to grab it, though. McMahon moving up quickly. We'll get it over to the left side, looking for a shot, waiting. We'll go wide instead. Toronto trying to keep it in. Keller tries to get it up to Hayton. Schmaltz will pick it up instead. Hayton now with it, moving to the left side, trying to get a pass across. Kessering won't be able to. Marner will pick it up instead. Toronto back behind their own net, trying to move out with it. 9:40 left in the second now. McMahon will dump that in right corner. Utah trying to clear that out right side. They will. Bounce all the way down. Wool come out a little to give that to Benoit. Quick passes up by Toronto. Utah trying to grab that neutral ice. They will. Gunther will grab it. It'll go just a little too far, though. Toronto will grab it right back. Down steep into the Utah zone, all the way down for an icing. 9:18 left in the second now. Toronto now with a 2-1 lead. Looking at that second Toronto goal, Marner again on the power play this time. Assist from Minton, his first of the season. Back in the Toronto zone for the icing. William Nylander, Cooley on the draw. Left side, Utah trying to win that. Trying to keep it in the zone. Here comes William Nylander up with pressure, up on the breakaway. Moving in, backhand, he'll score. William Nylander just able to get off the rush after Utah trying to keep that in along the left side of the Toronto zone. Just beats everybody for the breakaway. Simple little backhand there. He'll get that pass from Elka. Toronto, after being down 1 to enter this period, now with about halfway left in the second, up 2, now leading 3-1. Yeah, just beats everybody along that right side. Just moves in, quick little backhand, gets that right under the pad of Vejmelka. or just gets that 5-hole right under the pad, regardless where it ends up. Yeah, 5-hole right through him. He has him. He dragged him across just fine. If he keeps the 5-hole shut there, he might have stopped that one. Regardless, Toronto up 3-1 now with 9:10 left in the first. Utah taking their time out. Calm the game down, see if they can get settled down a little. Let two in quickly. William Nylander, his 14th of the year. No assists in there yet, but it might still be updating. Update when that is confirmed. Saddest part about that goal is because the app's ahead. I watched that goal pop up on the app before seeing that on the broadcast. So that's the only downside is have it for all the information, but it pops up just a little too quick. 9:10 will be a little scrum before we can drop the puck. Nothing crazy as Kraus and looks like Marner or maybe Benoit going at it. We'll see if anybody goes to the box because of that. Doesn't look like it. No punches thrown. 9:10. We'll see if we can get this puck dropped actually this time. Utah win the draw back into their own zone. Kessering will grab it in the left corner. Trying to ring that around right side. It'll bounce all the way down. Benoit will get to it first. Chipping up into the Utah zone. Lorentz able to grab it. Little pass in front. Saved by Vamelka. Held in along the right side. Utah able to clear that out. Kraus moving up the other way quickly. Forced in the left corner. Marceli Benoit fighting for it. Push back to the left side. Toronto looking to clear. It'll be kept in by Bukestad at the left point. Moving deep with it. Look at it back to Mata at the left point. Moving up to the slot. Right side looking for a shot in front. It will deflect wide. Kept in left side. Toronto able to get trying to clear that out. They will. Lamoureux back in the Utah zone with it. 8:15 now left in the second. Shot setting 20-14 in favor of Toronto. Lamoureux, quick little pass up to Stenlund. Held up at the line, though. Will be an offsides. Not quite able to get that one in fast enough. 8:08 left in the second. Toronto enters this period down 1 and currently is looking to leave it up 2. You're listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. .08 left in the second. Toronto now with a 3-1 lead after entering this period down 1. After getting that first one with 5 minutes into the second here, scored 2 within about a minute of each other. So this Toronto offense figuring it out, able to get past that Utah defense, and really getting something set up now. The only saving grace if you're Utah is they are only 1 for 4 on the power play at this point, but we've played half the game and you're already letting 4 power plays for Toronto, so not the greatest silver lining there for Utah. Left side dot outside the Toronto zone, they'll win it back into their Utah won it back into their own zone, looking to chip that up quickly. Here's Kerfoot trying to get in front, poke checked away behind the net. Carconio grace for it, trying to get it to the left side for Kerfoot. Tied up a little, not able to fully grab it. Will barely bounce out of the Toronto zone, moving up quickly now with it. They'll dump it left corner. Koliachonok will get to it first, looking to clear that out right side. Some quick passes up. Utah back in the zone. Here's Kessling moving in left side. Shot deflects wide. Saved by Wool. Koliachonok not quite able to keep that in. Utah forced out and forced to reset. Koliachonok back in the Utah zone, just waiting for the quick change there. Long pass up to Kerfoot. Will be an offsides, just barely it looked like. Or no, apologies, not an offsides there. It was the other thing I thought it would be. They caught Utah for a too many men penalty. Keller will be serving that one for Utah. So Toronto back on the power play again. This will be the 5th power play for Toronto tonight. 23 minutes into the game, and Utah's given up 5 power plays already. Trap that Utah typically falls into. 2, 4, yeah, that's 6 players. Yeah, you can't have that many. Left side draw in the Utah zone. They'll win it back. Toronto will win it back. Marner, he'll get that over to the left side. Marner looking for a hat trick. Back to Riley. Down to the slot. Back over to Marner. Right side looking for a shot. Deflects wide. William Nylander racing for it. We'll get it back to Marner. Barely kept in. Marner, or to Riley. Barely kept in by Marner. It'll bounce out regardless. Marner back in the Toronto zone with it. Minute 30 left in the Toronto power play. He'll get it in left side. Slowing, trying to get it over to him. Both teams scrambling for it in front. Vejmelka able to get the save. And another delayed penalty. So both teams really get to know each other after that one. Scrum about right the right corner. Both going at it. Might have just been an offsides they're calling there because I'm not seeing any additional penalties being called. No, it will be another penalty. Be on Utah. McBain taking a 2-minute hooking against Marner. So now this penalty turning into a 5-on-3. 5-on-3 for a minute 24, and then another 40 seconds of 5-on-4. It's a big chance for Toronto to really extend that lead. Already up 2 if they can get this 3. Score on the first one, make it a 3-goal, make it a 4-goal. Just make that hole even bigger for Utah to dig themselves out of. This will be crucial. 6:43 left in the second. Most of the rest of the period will be spent on the Toronto power play. See what they can do. Minute 24 on the 2-man advantage now. Shot sitting 21-15 in favor of Toronto. Right side dot outside the Utah zone. Toronto will win that back easily. Riley, he'll leave it back for Marner. Or for Tavares, apologies. Tavares on the right side now with it. Get it back to the point for Riley. Or for William Nylander. Just keep switching all those positions. Marner now back at the point. Riley at the right side. Looking for a shot. Looks for Tavares deep. Look for a tip in front by somebody. Doesn't end up going though. Toronto keeps their advantage. Big shot from Riley. Bounces wide. Marner looking to keep that in. He will along the left side. Circling down to the slot. Looking for a shot. Looking for a tip in front. Won't be able to find it. Another backhand in front. Saved by Vejmelka. Mitten, the one looking for that shot earlier. 40 seconds left on the 2-man advantage for Toronto. 5:59 left in the second. Toronto very patient on this 5-on-3 attempt, just taking their time, finding the right shots, doing a good job additionally battling for it in front, really not letting Vejmelka get set up too much. Because if they can find the weakness, pull him to one side, and get this up to a 3-goal lead, it'll be crucial for him. Kerfoot Tavares, right side draw in the Utah zone. Marner will come up to win it. He'll get it back to Riley at the point. Moving up. Leave it over to Nylander. Back to Marner. Looking in front. Tavares. Back to Marner. Shot. Deflects wide. Looking for another tip in front. Nobody able to get to it. Tavares looking for a wraparound. Nylander right in front. Looks for a shot. Deflects wide. In front. Alex Nylander with it. Gets it to Kerfoot. Looking to clear that out. They will. 8 seconds left in the 2-man advantage. Marner moving in. Slow along the right side. He'll get Tavares in front. Looking for Marner. Will go wide. Kerfoot looking to clear that out. Little attempt. Won't. Kept in by Tavares. Moving left side. It'll bounce to the right side. William Nylander looking to get it. Keller moving up quickly. Back up the other way. Looking to get a 2-on-3 rush here. Keller shot. Saved by Woll. It'll bounce up in front. 20 seconds left on the power play now. Here comes Alex Nylander. Back into the right corner. OEL trying to keep that in. He will. William Nylander looking to push that behind the Utah net. 3 seconds left on the power play. Utah looking to clear this, and they will. All the way back to the Toronto zone. 4:40 left in the second now. Shots sitting 26-16 in favor of Toronto. Looking for a quick pass up. Gunther will tip that right back into the Toronto zone. Gunther right side looking for a shot. Goes wide. Kept in by Kolyachonok just for a second, though. McMahon able to tip that right back out of the Toronto zone. Utah will dump it in. But OEL there to pick it up. Looking to dump that around with speed. Won't be able to. A broken stick prevents that. Toronto will grab it regardless. Looking to clear it out left side. Robertson, a long pass up to get that left side of the Utah zone. Kessering looking to clear it right back out. Will end up and neutralize. Cooley with it. Moving in, he'll leave it for Gunther right at the left point. Trying to get Kolyachonok in front. Here comes Toronto back up the other way. McMahon not quite able to hold that pass. Looks for a shot in front. 2 backhands, both saved by Vejmelka. Held up in the right corner. Kessering able to come away with it. 3:45 left in the second now. Kessering, he'll circle back into the Utah zone. Wait for a little change. Still holding. He'll give it back over to Kolyachonok just for a sec. He'll give it right back to him. Looking for a long pass up to Bukestad. He'll find him. In the zone, Krause looking for a shot. He'll tip to the right side. Mata looking to do something. He'll move deep. Mata forced into the right corner. Toronto looking to clear it up. Will be a holding call. That will be on 3 minutes. We'll see who that's called on. It might not have been. It might have just been for something else there. Regardless, it seems like we'll get that figured out after we come back from commercial. Looks like Utah will be going on the power play. 3:16 left in the second. Toronto with a 3-1 lead. You're listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. 3:16 left in the second as Utah will be going up on the power play. Benoit taking a 2-minute holding against Mata. So Utah looking to see if they can get on the get another one on the board here. Their first and only goal so far tonight, coming on the power play earlier. So if they can bring this game back within one before the period ends here, will be big for them. Especially as Toronto answering back quickly with those two goals within about a minute and a half of each other. We'll see what they can do. Right side draw in the Toronto zone. McCabe will come away with it. Looking to clear that out. He will. Dumped all the way back down. Sergachev with it. Leave it back for Keller. Moving up with speed, he'll give it over to Cooley. Getting in along the left side, force deep. Schmaltz will push that back to the right point, push deep. Keller not able to hold it. Toronto will come away with it instead. Tanev will get it over to McCabe, looking to clear that all the way down. He will. Sergachev will kind of stop it just a little. Still push it all the way back down regardless. Minute 25 left in the Utah power play. 2:35 left in the period. Utah back up the other way. Keller right at the left point. He'll dump that deep. Cooley trying to fight for it in the left corner. He's got Schmaltz with him. OEL will come away with it instead. Looking to clear that right side. He will. All the way back down again. 1 minute left in the Utah power play now. 2:15 left in the period. Schmaltz moving up with it now. He'll get it across right side. Trying to get that over to Cooley, who will. Sergachev will leave that for Gunther at the right side. Back to Sergachev. Cooley now with it. Back to Sergachev in the slot. Gunther now in the slot. He'll move left side. Moving deep with it. Has pressure. He'll get it back to Sergachev at the left corner now. Gunther. Back to Sergachev. Looking for something in front. Over to Keller at the right side. Can't get a shot off. Trying to get it to Schmaltz in front. Can't get anything going there. Back to Gunther. Moving in left side. He'll get it back to Sergachev in front. Back over to Keller right side. Cooley deep. Looking for a shot from an angle. Not quite able to get it. 14 seconds left on that power play. Gunther can't quite hold that pass from Keller along the right side. Tipped right back to Keller, though. Dancing at the right side. Cooley tries to get a pass over to Gunther. It'll tip up right over his stick, and Toronto will kill off that power play. 1:14 left in the period now. Toronto back in their own zone with it. Timmins. Quick little pass across. Timmins back with it. Moving up with it now. Trying to get that into the Utah zone. Not quite able to. 1 minute left. Krause trying to move up. Shot saved by Wall. 57.1 left in the second. Shots currently sitting 27-18 in favor of Toronto. And Toronto with that 3-1 lead still. That Toronto penalty kill on that last Utah power play there. Just brilliant job keeping it right in front. Forcing Utah to just keep passing it around to the outside. And even when they get those passes through them in the middle, not letting them even get a shooting lane. Doing a great job of, I don't even think they let a shot off during that power play. So phenomenal job by the Toronto power play penalty kill there. Left side draw, Toronto zone. Utah will win it, trying to keep it in, held up along the left side boards. Cole not able to hold that in the zone. He'll dump it right back in. Toronto will grab it instead, though. Tanev with it, looking for a quick pass up. Tipped into the Utah zone. Kessering will get to it first. Trying to clear that along the right side boards. They will. Tanev, quick little pass over to Riley. He'll ring that around right side of the Utah zone now. Held in along the right side boards, both digging at it. Pushed in the left corner. Cole should get to it first. He will. Tries to get a pass out. They will on this second attempt. Pressured by Toronto, though. William Nylander back in the Toronto zone. 15 seconds left in the period. Tanev back behind the Toronto net. 7 seconds left. Looking for a quick pass up to see if they can get one more. They'll get the pass up. Tavares over to William Nylander. Shot goes wide. Into the left corner. And that will be the end of the second. Both teams exchanging some words after that one. We'll see if that continues over into the third. Regardless, Toronto up 3-1 at the end of the second. Final shots at the end of the second. 27-18 in favor of Toronto. We'll see if they can keep the lead for 20 more, or if the Utah offense can figure something out going into the third here. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back in 15. Welcome back as we get ready to start the third period. Toronto up 3-1. Stats for you before we start the period. Shots sitting 26-18 in favor of Toronto. Looking at the second specifically, 16-6 in favor of Toronto. So all Toronto that last period. We'll see if Utah can bounce back. Face-off sitting 23-20 in favor of Toronto. Utah 1 for 2 on the power play so far tonight. Toronto 1 for 6, which would be more concerning if you weren't currently up 3-1. But if Utah does end up mounting a comeback, that could be something to look at if you're Toronto. Hits sitting 26-15 in favor of Toronto. Block shots 10-4 in favor of Utah. It's going to be a big period here for Utah. If they can get the offense going early and get it going quick, kind of have that early jump at the beginning, they should be in good shape. However, the last two periods, Toronto's been the one to open up the offense in the beginning of both periods. Much less, the first they had that opening start, couldn't maintain it. However, second had that start and could maintain it. So we'll see if Utah can instead take the reins here and start this period fast and quick. Otherwise, as it stands now, if Toronto keeps doing what they're doing, keeps Utah pinned in their own zone as much as possible, seems like Toronto's game to lose at this point. See what can happen. Still 20 minutes to play, so still plenty of time to see something happen. Get this period started as soon as they want to cut away from the bench. There we go. Opening face-off for the third, Bukestad and Dewar again. Dewar wins that back cleanly. Toronto with it. Benoit. Quick little tip up to Steve. So he'll get it into the Utah zone just barely. It'll end up behind the Utah net. Cole able to grab that with ease. He'll wait for the change. And for a long pass up, not able to get that set up quite as much as they'd wanted to. Toronto will dump that right back into the Utah zone. They'll push that right side. Kept in, looking for a tip in front. It'll tip to the right corner instead. Laurence will get that back to the right point. Now over to McCabe, looking for a big shot, deflects wide. Tavares trying to battle for it along the left side boards. Utah looking to clear. They will on the second attempt. Tanev, a quick little pass up to Marner. It'll bounce back into the Toronto zone. All the way back down, no icing though. Hayton with good pressure. Toronto still able to get to it first. Utah looking to keep that in the zone along the right side boards. They'll push it into the right corner. Tanev will get to it first. Pressure will push that up to Marner, still along the right side boards. Looking to clear that out, they will. Tavares trying to move up quickly, not able to grab quite as much of a hold on it as he wants. Would have been an offsides if Toronto had kept going in, so Utah back with control of it. Trying to get that in, it takes an odd bounce up, and Toronto back with possession. They'll dump that into the Utah zone on net, though, so no icing. Mata, quick little pass over to Sergachev at the right side. Back to Mata in the left corner. 18.5 left in the third now. Mata still in the Utah zone. Pass back over to Sergachev. Back to Mata. Utah finally able to get that change going. McBain, quick pass up. Trying to push that behind the Toronto net. Gunther will get that back to the right point. Big shot from the point. Bounces in and they'll deflect it in. McBain from in front. Shot from the left point, I believe, by Kesselring. And Utah brings this within one. My only concern on that goal there is that Toronto might challenge that one for high stick. We'll have to see on the replay. But regardless, Utah moving around the Toronto zone effectively. Yeah, McBain gets it up over the line. He'll push it deep into the Toronto zone. He'll hold it behind the net for a sec. Gunther will get it back to the left point. McBain able to get in front as it ends up right in front. Deflects Wool right on the right side. McBain hits that beautifully over to the left end instead. Cooley with the shot from the point there, and McBain able to put that one in. No challenge on that one. Toronto now only up one. All the way back down into the Utah zone. Colechano will get to it first, trying to clear that out left side. They will. They'll end up back in Toronto ice, both racing for it. No icing called, though. Kerfoot will keep that in along the right side boards, trying to get in front, not able to. Carcone deep. He'll get it back to Lamoureux, left point, looking for another tip. Not quite able to get it. Almost does, though. Lamoureux, another shot in front, looking for another tip. Nothing there. Saved by Wool. Gerbekin looking to clear that out. He will, but Utah pick it right back up in their own zone. Back in neutral ice with it. Pass up. Lamoureux will tip it into the Toronto zone. He'll back up, though. Toronto holds it in their own zone. Quick pass across. Here comes Timmins moving in quickly. Or Dewar moving in quickly. Doesn't matter. Utah will regain control. McBain, pass over to Gunther. He'll get that deep behind the Toronto net. Him and Tanev fighting for it. Toronto looking to chip that out left side. Poked right back in. Will be poked on net, though. Tanev will leave that for McCabe in the right corner. Trying to clear that out right side. They will. 2-on-1, though, for Lorenz. Not quite able to get anything going there. Utah back up the other way quickly. Cooley right across the line. He'll dump that along the right side boards. At least he'll try to. Marner fighting for it in neutral ice. Or Lorenz fighting for it in neutral ice. Will end up behind the Utah net. Kesselring with it. Quick little passes up. Utah trying to get back into the Toronto zone. They'll dump it right corner. Wool get to it first. He'll push it left corner instead. Bukestad will grab it before any Toronto player can. Pushed in the left corner, both digging at it. Will end up behind the Toronto net. They'll come away with it. Quick pass up to Robertson. Pass over to the right side into the Utah zone. Left for William Nylander, looking for a shot in front. Saved by Vejmelka. All the way back down to the Toronto zone, and that will be the icing that they are looking for. 16:03 left in the third now. Regarding that second Utah goal, McBain, his 7th of the season. Cooley and Kesselring with the assists, their 12th and 8th, respectively. So this Utah offense strikes back early, but after that goal, it's been all Toronto, it seems. So we'll see if they can get one more, get in the zone, looking for another tip in front. That was the key to getting that second goal in, which, with a goaltender like Wool, that might be your best bet. Toronto win the draw. McCabe shot on front, saved by Vejmelka. He'll push it left corner instead of holding it. He'll end up into the netting instead. Play blown dead. 15:55 now left in the third. Shots sitting 29-20 in favor of Toronto. Now only up 3-2. So we'll see if Toronto can keep getting these shots on net like they have been. They've been doing it all game, especially that second. Once they took control of that second, really proving it doesn't matter where they are, they can get quality shots on net for a majority of the period at least. Utah proving they can do it, but it takes a little more effort from them. See if they can keep this up and tie this back up. Utah win the draw left side in the Utah zone. They'll dump that all the way back down into Toronto's end. Toronto with it, looking for a long pass up. Be tipped up out of play. 15:39 now left in the third. Shots sitting 29-20 in favor of Toronto. As of the third so far, shots sitting 3-2 in favor of Toronto. And regarding the third Toronto goal, because it's been a minute. No assists on that one, so just Nylander with the goal there. Dumped deep by Toronto behind the Utah net, looking to find something there. It'll end up in the left corner instead. Trying to clear that out. Marner will keep it in. Push it to the right corner. Kesselring trying to get to it first. McMahon there with him. Marner now grabbing it. He'll get it to McMahon behind the Utah net. Trying to bounce that in front to Tavares. Bad pass kept in, though. It'll bounce in front to Marner. Marner forced to the right side. Looks for a shot. It'll go wide. McCabe will push that around to the right end. Marner with it again. Looking in front for McMahon. Not quite able to get that shot off. Tavares racing for it. He'll get it back to McCabe at the point. Back to McMahon behind the net now. Over to Tanev on the right side. Trying to get that across to McCabe. It'll take a weird bounce. We'll grab it anyway. Lorenz down at left point. Pass across to Tanev. Looking for a backhand in front. Nothing there. Saved by Vejmelka. Dewar, the one looking for that backhand there in front. 14:34 left in the third now. Toronto definitely a little angry after letting that goal in. It's been all offense from them so far in this period after the initial rush by Utah to get that goal in. If you're Toronto, now you only have that one goal lead. If you can just get back to what you've been doing, keep them in their zone for as much as possible, force them to jump and chase, and get that changes so they can't get set up, should be golden. Right side draw in the Utah zone will pop right in front for Minton. Not quite able to get a shot off, though. Alex Nylander with it along the right side. He'll push it behind the net. Trying to get in front. Alex Nylander will bounce up over a stick out of the Utah zone. Benoit racing for it. Toronto looking to get to it first. Bounced off Lamoureux's stick and neutral ice. He'll get it into the Toronto zone. Sten looking for a shot in front. Not able to get it. Timmins will pass up to Minton. Pass over to William Nylander. Back to Minton in the left corner. Alex Nylander, he'll push that back to the right point. OEL, he'll dump it back around. Minton will get to it in the left corner first. Tied up in that corner, though. Marta able to get to it first. Up to Carcone, looking to clear it out, and they will. Racing for it, Robertson, he'll push it back into the Toronto zone. OEL will grab that safely. Riley with it. Pass up over to Holmberg, trying to get it along the left side, not quite able to. Will end up behind the Utah net. Kolyachonok will grab it. Pass over to McBain. Long pass up, tipped up for no icing, though. Will end up in the Toronto zone. Riley will get to it first. 13-15 now left in the third. Long pass up by Toronto will end up back behind the Utah net. Kolyachonok will get to it first. Trying to get it up to Gunther. Gunther will grab it. He'll move it back behind the Utah net. He'll hold for a sec. He'll leave it back for Sergachev, and they'll go change. 12:55 left in the third now. Shots still sitting 29-20 in favor of Toronto. Utah finally moving up out of their zone. Chipped in. Woll able to push that behind his own net, trying to clear that out right side. Kept in by Kesselring. He'll be pushed into the right corner. Bounced out to the left point. Shot goes wide. Woll with the save, though. So reach out and grab it. Both teams battling in front now. A little bit of a scrum, getting to know each other there. 12:34 left in the third now. Utah able to get a little more offense over these last few minutes, getting it back into the Toronto zone. We'll see if they can keep that up over these last few minutes, or if Toronto can hold out just long enough to keep this game on their side. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. .12:34 left in the second. Utah now only down 1. Toronto up 3-2. Utah over these last few minutes, some good offensive pressure. We'll see if they can put one in. Maybe get lucky, draw a penalty, see if you can go back on the power play. They've 1 for 2 tonight. If they can get back on the power play, that would be big for them. Although much less shot attempts on that second one compared to the first. Regardless, just getting in the zone will be critical for them. Left side draw, Toronto zone. Toronto win it back, moving behind their own net with it, trying to clear it out right side. They will. Marner, pass across. It'll be dumped deep. Take a weird bounce in front. Tavares with it now, looking for a backhand in front. Marner trying to get the rebound. Will bounce out to the right point. Nobody there to grab it, though. All the way back down to the Toronto zone. Tanev will grab it. Pass over to McCabe. It'll be dumped up into the Utah zone. McMahon looking for one. Tries to get it in front. Poke checked away by Vejmelka just in time as he looks for the backhand there. Utah back up the other way. Keller tries to get a pass across to Marner. Not quite able to. Marner with a quick pass up to McMahon. Looking for a second one. He'll pass it across to Holmberg. Looking for one out of the air. Saved by Vejmelka on the first attempt. It'll bounce out of his grasp though. Ends up to Benoit along the left corner. Back to Holmberg. Looking for one in front. Not quite able to get anything going there. Utah trying to come away with it. Pressured though. William Nylander trying to keep that in. Won't be able to. Quick pass over to Timmins. Back up in the other way. Robertson. Quick shot. Goes wide. Bounces in front of the Utah zone. Utah able to come away with it. Bukestad trying to get a pass across. Not quite able to. Holmberg will tip that back into the Utah zone. All the way back down. Just barely for an icing. 11:14 left in the third now. Shot setting 31-21 in favor of Toronto. Great opportunity there. McMahon had two he could have had there. The first one beautifully poke checked away. Second rush there, he gets it over to Holmberg. Not able to get the shot across though. Get the bat out of midair. Vejmelka pretty much to the side of the net with it. Just loses control of it. And that Utah defense in the right place at the right time to prevent that from going back in front for an easy goal. Left side draw, Toronto zone. Toronto trying to clear it. They will, but Utah pick it right back up in neutral ice. Lamoureux with it. Pass over to Gunther along the right side. Looking for a shot, deflects in front. Will end up on the right side of the net. Trying to clear it out right side. Bounces up over Cooley, not able to grab it. In front, looking for a shot. Toronto. Dewar with it. Will end up behind the net. Both teams digging at it now. Both teams still digging at it behind the net. Finally comes away. Cole able to get it. McBain now with it. Tied up along the right side boards of the Utah zone. Back to Cole. Trying to chip it up right in front for Steves. Big shot saved in front by Vejmelka. 10:25 left in the third now. Toronto not letting Utah get set up, even on the icings, winning those faceoffs to clear it right back out as soon as possible. Utah just not doing a good job so far of really getting it out of their own zone. Because even if they can't get set up in Toronto's zone, they're having a very difficult time getting out of their own zone, even on easy exits like this one here, just taking soft shots, weird bounces, and not being able to get out. Right side draw. Toronto in front with it, looks for the backhand, not able to grab it. Alex Nylander holding it along the left side in the Utah zone. Getting it deep for Minton. Tied up behind the net, though. Forced into the right corner. He'll try and leave it behind the net. Koliachon will get to it first. He'll leave it for Kesselring. Utah moving up with it now. They'll dump it left corner of the Toronto zone. Just barely for the icing, though, so back down to the Utah zone we will go. 9:59 left in the third now. Shot sitting 32-21 in favor of Toronto. We'll see if Toronto on that last faceoff there able to win it and just get it in front. Looking for an easy backhand there. Alex Nylander, the one looking for that one. Right side draw in the Utah zone. Utah trying to win that back. They'll force it along the right side boards instead. Pushed into the right corner. Koliachonic trying to get to it first. Has William Nylander with pressure. He'll give it over to Kerfoot. Quick pass up. Stenlin now with it. Moving in across the line. Looking for a shot. Deflects wide instead. Forced into the right corner. Both teams digging at it. Bounce out to the left side. Looking for something in front. Sergachev looks for a shot. Deflects wide instead. Flex up into the netting because I can't imagine where else that would have ended up. Weird bounce off a body in front there. 9:31 left in the third. Toronto now only with a 1-goal lead, up 3-2. Utah getting some pressure back, but it's been mostly Toronto so far. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. About 9.5 left in the third. Utah with some good offensive chances. Not able to put anything else in so far. They've had the one goal in front off the beautiful tip there, but haven't been able to get anything else in so far. It's been mostly Toronto in terms of shots, so we'll see if Utah can start getting something set up. They're running out of time, though. Right side draw in the Toronto zone. Utah win it. Lamoureux will keep it in along the right dot. Kept in. Big shot from the left circle, or at least tries to. Stick broken. Left point, not left circle. Toronto now within the right corner, looking to clear that out. Barely will. Bukestad will put it right back into the Toronto zone, though. Tied up along the right side boards. Lamoureux looking to push that deep. Naselli trying to gain control of it. Won't be able to. It'll be pushed in the right corner. Toronto looking to clear. Push back behind the Toronto net. Looking to clear left side this time. They'll be successful on that end. Bukestad, a long pass up to Maselli. He'll leave it back for Kraus. Looking for a tip in front for Mata. Nothing there, though. Saved by Woll. 8:49 left in the third now. Shots sitting 32-22 in terms, or for Toronto. Looking at shots specifically in the third, currently sitting 6-3 in favor of Toronto. So it's definitely been more Toronto's period so far. However, when Utah's been in the zone, they've been taking advantage of it. There have been plenty of times where they've been in the zone just for a second, but once they've actually been able to get set up, it's been very nice for them to get some shots on net, get some good chances. Schmaltz Marner, right side dot in the Toronto zone, trying to come away with it. Toronto will instead. Tavares will dump that into the right corner of the Utah zone. Mata will get to it first. He'll push it left corner. Utah looking to clear left side. They will. Toronto will pick it right back up and neutralize though. McCabe will dump it right back in. Melk will slow that. He'll push it into the left corner. Now Keller with it. He'll dump it left side of neutral ice. Nobody there to pick it up though. Lucky bounce in front. Schmaltz with it. Moving in. Tries to leave that back for Keller. Not quite able to. Poked out of the zone. Lamoureux, a pass back to Cole. He'll hold it in the Utah zone. Back up to Schmaltz. He'll circle that back to the Utah zone. Lamoureux looking for a long pass up. League tipped into the Toronto zone, so no icing there. Tied up in the left corner. Both teams trying to come away with it. Cooley can't quite keep control of it. Lee Robertson was able to dance in the left corner with it. Over to Riley. He'll dump it out. Trying to race for it. Cole will get to it first. Holmberg, the one racing for it there for Toronto. Trying to keep it in. It'll be dumped into the Toronto zone along the right side. McBain with it now. Forced deep. Tied up along the right side corner. Robertson really putting some good pressure there on him. Held in at the left point. Back over to Kesselring on the right point. Kulichanik. Big shot from Cooley at the point. Deflects wide. Kesselring now with it. Hits a body in front. Looks for the backhand save on Woll, though. 7:13 left in the third now. Shots adjusted now, sitting 32-22. Utah, some good pressure in the Toronto zone. Like I've been saying, when they can get into the zone, it's been critical for them, and they've been taking good chances in the third. It's been the problem of getting into the zone that's been an issue for them. And putting some good quality shots up on Woll, just not been able to get anything in so far. We'll see if they can do it with 7 minutes left. Left side draw. Dewar, Stenland. Tied up at the dot. It'll be bouncing in front. Carcone looking for one. Woll with a beautiful save. Just gets the pad over just in time. Carcone looking for the easy wraparound there. Not able to get it. It'll bounce in for an offsides into the Utah zone. Wow, what a save by Woll. Keeps this game within one. On the replay again. Off the faceoff. Bounces in. He has Woll drawn. Not able to get right on the post just fast enough, but able to get the pad just in time to block Carcone's shot there. Wow, what a save. Left side draw in the Toronto zone again. Dewar, Stenland again. 7 minutes exactly left in the third now. Tied up the dot, it'll bounce in front. Utah looking for a shot, won't be able to. Will be Minton coming away with it. Trying to dump that into the Toronto zone. It will be an offsides, though. Or would have been offsides if they continued to play that. Utah back with control. Kerfoot racing up the right side, looking for something in front. He'll leave it for Carcone. Shot bounces off the post, it looks like. Almost has one there. Marner backed up the other way quickly. He's got two with him. Marner tries to leave that back for Minton, not quite able to. Minton shot, goes wide. Kept in by McCabe. Ring around to the right side. Lorentz, the one with the rush there, not Marner. Tavares trying to get that front, not quite able to. Kerfoot, leave it over to Kesselring. Kesselring trying to dump that into the Toronto zone, not quite able to on the first attempt. He'll get it in just for a second, though. It'll end up back in neutral ice. Utah trying to control, won't be able to. Here comes Tavares back up the other way, looking for a shot right into the glove of Vejmelka, though. 5:59 left in the third. Utah with a beautiful chance, just barely stopped by Woll. He'll keep this game tied, or he'll keep this game at 3-2 instead of tying it up at 3. Listening to Utah Toronto on Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. We'll be back after the short commercial break. .559 left in the third now. Utah down 1. Almost had one on that last rush. Woll with the beautiful pad save. Gets it right across in time to keep Toronto with the lead here. We'll see if Utah can get back in the zone. As they've proved on those last few rushes, if they get in, they can put some quality shots on net. It's getting it past Woll at this point. That's the problem. 6 minutes left. They just need one. We'll see if they can do it. On the other hand, Toronto just needs to hold out for 6 more minutes. Hopefully, get an empty net if possible. Put this game away. Left side dot in the Utah zone. Tied up along the left side boards. Utah push it back behind their own net. Maselli will grab it in the right corner. He'll hold in the Utah zone. Moving up with it along the right side. Chip it in along the right side of the Toronto zone. Will be pushed deep. We'll get to it first, looking to clear that out right side. Maselli tries to get a pass in front, not quite able to. Riley looking to clear that out along the right side, not quite able to. Bounces to Bukestad in front, saved by Woll. Kesselring, he'll get it over to Cole at the right point. Looks for a tip in front, it'll go wide instead. Kesselring, walking the line with it. Shot goes wide in front. Looking for another one. Shot goes wide again. Bounce back behind the net, pressure. Both teams digging for it. Krause trying to get that in front, not quite able to. Cole keep it in. Over to the left side now. Tries to get it over Maselli on the right side. He will, but can't get the shot off in time. Looks for a shot in front. It'll bounce wide. Back behind the Toronto net, looking to clear it out. Robertson tries to get it out. They will just barely, but it'll be pushed right back in instead. Toronto with control, though. OEL held up in the left corner, or in the right corner, not able to do much there. It'll be moved out. Finally, it'll be moved out by OEL. Good pressure from Utah there to keep that in just for a second. McMahon looking for one in front, not quite able to get it. It'll get the pass across, but Vejmelka with the save. Utah back up the other way quickly. 4.5 left in the third now. We'll see when they decide to pull Vejmelka. Still, I assume still a few minutes away. Toronto will dump that right back out of their own zone. No shots by Utah on that rush there. Schmaltz will leave that back for Mata in the Utah zone. Still holding it. He'll give it to Keller. Moving in left side. He'll get it to Schmaltz in the slot. He'll push left side instead. Tries to get it to Lamoureux in front. Misses the shot entirely, though. Lorenz will dump that into the Utah zone. Utah get to it first. Cooley with it. Pressured by Dewar, though. He'll be forced back behind the net. Able to tip that up for no icing into the Toronto zone. Nobody there to grab it, though. Wool. He'll push it over to Benoit. Trying to clear that out right side. Lamoureux fighting to keep that in. They won't be able to. McBain will pick it up in neutral ice. Push back into the Toronto zone. 3:30 left. Forced back out, though. Kolechonik with it. He'll dump it back in. He'll hit Benoit in front, though. He'll be able to grab that and push that right back to Toronto. Utah grab that right back in neutral ice. Back in their own zone, they'll hold it. Over to Kesselring. Get it over to Cole. 3:05 left in the period now. Cole pressured by Robertson, it looks like. Back in the Utah zone. Can't really get set up or do anything to wait for the change there. Finally, he'll be able to. Robertson still with good pressure, though. Nicely done by him. Did not give up on that play. 2:45 left in the third now. Pass over to Robertson. Back into the back in the Utah zone. Big shot will bounce off a stick. Stays in play, though. Here's Kerfoot with it. Pressured by William Nylander now. He'll leave it back. 2.5 left. They'll bounce up into the Utah bench, though, as they try and tip that out. Play blown dead. 2:25 left in the third. Some good chances, but Robertson and William Nylander, just great offensive pressure there. Forcing Utah to stay back in their own zone with no pressure even going on. Toronto gets the easy change there. And Utah, yes, they can get the change, but can't get much going there. Nicely done by the both of them. 2:25. Right side draw in the Utah zone. It'll be Bukestad and Dewar. Bukestad will win that back in the right corner. Trying to push that out, won't be able to. Krause will try and grab it instead. Mata will get that back to Lamoureux behind the Utah net, moving out with it. At least he'll try to. It'll be held up along the left side boards. Steve's racing for it, but Utah will get to it first. Mata, that's the name I'm looking for. Lamoureux will just ring that around in the Toronto zone. Hayton tries to push that deep. Kept in. Maselli will get to it behind the Toronto net. Looking for a pass in front to Krause. Not able to find it. Toronto not able to clear, though. Utah with the empty net now. Toronto tying it up in their own zone. Forced to clear that out right side. It'll be picked up right at the Utah blue line. Schmaltz with it. He'll tip it up to Cooley. Cooley moving in with speed. Forced into the right corner. Back to Sergachev. Big shot from Gunther at the left side. Goes wide. Keller trying to get it. Cooley will put it back. Saying hand pass, I believe. So play blown dead regardless. 1:27. Shots 34-25 in favor of Toronto. Toronto up 3-2. Utah with the empty net and a chance to tie this game up. Some great pressure from Utah getting in the Toronto zone. Like they've been doing over these last 2, 3, 5 minutes now. Once they've been getting in the zone, great pressure. Vejmelka back in the net for Utah. Probably just a security as they're not in the Toronto zone. Good choice. Toronto will win it. Back into the Utah zone. Marner looking for the hat trick. Not able to find it. Utah back in their own zone. 1:15 now. Cooley moving up through center ice. Not able to control it as he gets into the zone. Empty net again for Utah. Cooley now back with it. Tries to get it to Gunther. And he's trying to push that to the left side. Not able to. It'll bounce into the right corner instead. McBain behind the Toronto net with it. 55 seconds. Back to Sergachev at the point. Keller right side. Looking for a shot. Saved in front by Wool. It'll bounce into the left corner. Gunther with it. Bounce up into the netting, though, as he tries to wrap that around. 46.1 left in the third. Utah with the empty net, down 1. Shots hitting 35-25 in favor of Toronto. Good chances by Utah. Nothing's went in yet. We'll see if they can do it. They're running out of time quickly. Left side draw, Toronto zone. Tavares and Hayton on the draw. Tied up at the dot, both fighting for it. Will end up in the left corner for Gunther. He'll try and ring that around to Keller. He'll be able to along the right side boards. Cooley trying to tip that in front, not quite able to. Sergachev looking for a shot, deflects wide. Will end up in the left corner. Utah trying to dig away at it. 30 seconds now. End up behind the net for Keller. Back to Cooley at the left point. Tries to get that over to the left side for Gunther. Trying to get something in front. It'll bounce wide instead. Cooley back with it at the right side. 17 seconds now. Sergachev over to Keller. Keller waiting. Looks for a shot in front. Misses it wide. Schmaltz looking for that shot there. 9 seconds left. All Toronto needs is a clear, and they'll try to get it. Utah barely keeps it in. Gunther looking for a shot in front. It'll deflect wide instead. Toronto with it now. William Nylander puts that one in, maybe right at the end. It was kind of close. We'll see if that counts or not. Regardless of if it counts or it doesn't, Toronto taking this game either 4-2 or 3-2. Looking like 3-2, though. Yeah, looking 3-2 for the final tonight. Utah with some great chances there at the end, just not able to put that past. What a great ending to that one. Good pressure with that empty net there, not able to let Toronto get that out of the zone. Nicely done by them. Next game, meet me back here Tuesday, where Utah finishes up their road trip against Montreal. Then they will be back home on Friday after that. I will see you then. This has been Taryn. I've been Taryn Holmes. This has been Utah 801 Utah Hockey Radio. Have yourself a good rest of the night.